Hey, it's Tuesday tea time with Dorina. So, how are you doing this Tuesday night? I hope everything is going well for you. Okay. For all of our first time viewers and those that are will be watching the replay, we want to welcome you to Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina, presented from Women of Wisdom. And we are a nonprofit organization that is here to empower teen girls and women with practical wisdom and confidence. We're here to bridge that generational gap between the young and the older generation because we need each other. Okay. All right. So, you know that I usually share with you my tea journey, we can call it. So, wow, I'm still doing the Tea Smith teas because one of my friends bought that for me for my birthday, and wow, I am really enjoying it along with a few extra or new cups, butterfly cups I received for my birthday. So, yay! So, I'm using one of them tonight. And last time I think I shared with you, my little tea thing I got at the tea Smith. Hold on a minute because I'm going to show you the tea that I have. I set it off to the side and I want to share with you. So, this particular tea is called Orange Blossom. So, this is Orange Blossom from the Tea Smith, and this will be my first time trying it out. But I know one thing, oh, it has such a good aroma to it. So, yeah, even it has a little orange kind of a looking um, look to it. So, anyway, tea time. I do have a little honey with this. And oh, this tastes good. It's kind of got it's an orange flavor with the slight spice to it. It tastes really good. So, and then their tea is loose leaf. So, I have a mish strainer, to put the tea inside, and you put this inside your cup and fill your cup up. Oh, you know what? You gotta go try it out. Okay. Another tea time. This is good. All right. So, okay. So, let's dive into our topic tonight. We are talking about, let me put that for you, um, letting people go. Okay. So, I know that this particular subject can be a little touchy, you know, for a lot of us, because when you talk about letting anything go, if we have issues with letting things go, then how much more do we have an issue when we're talking about letting people go? Because sometimes these are people that we have had relationships with, you know, for many years. And, you know, sometimes it's just necessary that we have to let that relationship go. Okay. So let's just, you know, get the wisdom out of what's being said tonight. And even though, it may be a little tough for you, listen to the truth. What you glean out of it, and use it to your advantage so that you can improve who you are. Because unless you are healthy, you cannot help somebody else to be healthy. That is not going to happen. And unless you can't give what you don't have. And so, especially if you're a parent, you want to be able to pass down, wisdom to your children and your grandchildren. And so, unless you're willing to accept some things, even though it may be difficult, um, you know, it'll be a cycle, a pattern, you know, that's like a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we have, let's see. Oh, Christian. Hey, Christian. Thanks for joining us tonight. So, we're talking about letting people, and at one point in my life, really, this was a difficult thing to do because, um, I had to uh, let go of somebody that had never even been in my life. And I'm talking about my mom, because she passed away when I was 11 months. And I had to let go of a relationship or an experience that I desired to have. I had to let it go that I would never be able to have that relationship. And so I had to, as a child, I took that in. And as an adult, it affected my life growing up. And I had to get to a point where I had to let that go. And so some relationships that we have to let go doesn't mean that the person is a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person just because you need to let that person go. Okay. So this is just a part of life, and there are seasons in life. And sometimes, you know, we overstay our visit. Let's say that we overstay our visit sometimes when it's time to leave. Okay. And so that makes it hard for everybody, and it makes it even harder for the persons that's holding on when you need to let go. Okay. So last week, I really felt that, that there are some of you out there that are struggling in this area, and that you need to let that person go, but it's been so difficult for you to do that. And sometimes you have to be careful because some people will put a guilt trip on you, or some people that have issues in the area of jealousy and things like that. They use guilt as a tool to try to keep you in something um, for their benefit. And so you just have to be careful that you're not allowing yourselves to be used. And one thing that came to me too was that listen to your inner voice, you know and a lot of times, uh your inner voice is trying to tell you that it's time to get out of that situation, but because you know sometimes, we think, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, or, I don't, this, that, and the other. But Come on, when you see the signs and you know the direction that you're headed in, be wise and make the right decision and get out of that thing before it becomes even more difficult for you and the other person. And some situations have let uh, things in critical situations. And, that person, you know, lost their life because they were in a relationship way too long, and so we have to use wisdom when it comes to dealing with relationships with people and, you know, holding on to things that we need to let go of, okay? So I just want to encourage you about that. We have another comment. Hi, Elise. Wow, great topic. Glad I joined. Good evening. Good evening to you as well. And I'm glad that you joined as well. Okay, so let's I put a quote on here. Let's look at this quote. It says, letting go is hard, but being free is beautiful. Look at that. You know, you know, wow. That's, it speaks, we know that holding on to people or letting people go can be a hard situation, but look at the results of being free is beautiful. And so, really, what we do sometimes is we put ourselves in handcuffs and we lead ourselves to a prison that is hard to get out of. And sometimes we become resentful towards the other person, but it's really our decision to get out of that situation. And we can resolve that just by making wise decisions and saying, okay, I see the reality of this, and this is not working. It's time to get out of it. And something that came to me was that uh, don't stay in a season that has already changed. Come on, imagine what that looks like if the season of summer is here and you're stuck in winter. How ridiculous does that look? Because you're dressing, like you're in winter and, it's summertime. And that is a picture of what it looks like when we stay in relationships way too long. We look ridiculous. And it causes a lot of problems. Hey, Betty, it's my cousin. You always have encouraging words. I'm glad I tuned in. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you tuned in as well. And so let's look at this. Think about what you want in a relationship. Sometimes you have to reframe your definition of relationship. And you have to frame your own definition of what relationship is instead of allowing other people to define what relationship means to you. You know what it means to you. Other people always have, opinions about how you should act or how you should respond in a relationship. But you know that's where individuality and uniqueness come in. And when you're in a right relationship, people don't require, they're not requiring you to act the way they want you to act. I know that there's selfishness in relationships, and I know that sometimes you have to work through relationships to get to that point where we're growing out of those baby stages of relationship. But you don't want to stay in a relationship that is constantly requiring more of what they want than allowing you to be who you are. That's draining. Okay, we got another comment. But let's see, but the word of God says we would not be able to tell one season from another. Well, you know what? Our eyes are open and we can see. I'm not sure where that's at. You're gonna have to give me chapter and verse on that one. I don't know where that's at. But let's see what else we got. Okay, it's 75 degrees today and 26 tomorrow, and this is spring. You know what? That's a whole different subject right there. We're talking about letting people go. We're talking about you know, unhealthy relationships. Staying in a relationship that is unhealthy for you. Yes, do what is best for you. Sometimes you have to do what is best for you. Thanks, Kristen. Sometimes you have to do what is best for you because you know what's best for you. And other people will try to get you to do what's best for them. And so we're talking about letting people go. We're talking about uh, being different seasons in our lives and not allowing people to overstay their time. My dad used to say a lot of time, seldom visit make long friends. And it is true that if you're if if you're in something too long, or well, let's put it like this, okay, because this comes to me, and this is good. I wrote this down somewhere. When we bond too easily. Do not bond to people too easily, okay? There's nothing wrong with having relationships, and there's some people that boom, you just connect with them, and it's all good, and we're like, we have I don't know, the same chemistry, I guess you could kind of say. But there's some people that are only in your lives for a season. And when we allow them to overstay their season, then things start to go in a course that is not good for either one of us. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. Marion, in other words, you are in one relationship today and a different one tomorrow. Sometimes you don't know what's best for you. There is no way a woman can think a man loves her beating her up every other day. Well, that is true. But people get stuck in relationships like that, and let's see, if he's not for me, he's against me. Well, that is true. And you know what causes us to get stuck in relationships like that is when we have a soul tie with those people, and we we're we're emotionally tied to those people. Okay. But we just have grace and mercy for those that get stuck in those relationships, and help them to see the truth so that they can to get out of that relationship. And really, that's why we're here, to give wisdom, practical wisdom, and confidence to help women make wise decisions, so that we don't get trapped in relationships like that. Or if we are trapped in relationships like that, we know that we can get out of them. And just learning how to and seeing signs of truth that will help us get to the place where we can let go of that unhealthy relationship. Okay. Okay, let's so look, wisdom tells us not to bond too easily. That's what I was talking about. Wisdom tells us not to bond too easily, because sometimes we we're too quick to open up ourselves to people, and we need to first learn more about that person before we open up our hearts to that person. I was thinking about this, and sometimes you just got listen, learn to listen. And I'm telling you, if you just learn to listen to people, they will tell you about themselves. And you don't even have to worry about trying to figure it out, because they'll just blurt it out before you. And if you look at and not for, then your wisdom will open up, just like that. Lights going off all over the place. Because when you look at, you're looking at that person for the way they really are. When you look for, you're looking for what you want to see. And you know what? We can deceive ourselves into believing whatever we want to believe. But if we look at things for what they truly are, then we will not fall in the trap of deception. Okay. So, let's move on. To let people go sometimes stems from our own fear of emotional abandonment, rejection, and criticism. Wisdom tells us not to chase after people, but walk away with all our dignity intact. Okay. So sometimes, uh, we have difficulty letting people go because we're dealing with our own emotional abandonment. But if you recognize that you have trouble in that area, then that will help you let go. That will help you see the truth. And then you're not what they call when you're dependent on people, and um oh, what's the word that I'm looking for? Codependent. You're not codependent on people, because that stems out of fear. And emotional abandonment, that means that you sometime during your childhood or your life or whatever, you were not emotionally fed. Let's put it like that. You were not emotionally fed properly. Your parents, maybe they didn't give you the emotional uh, uh, support that you needed. And so sometimes if we just recognize that we have an issue in that area, it will help us not to allow people to take advantage of us and staying in relationships way too long. Okay. Let's hear what Yuli said. An unhealthy relationship can always be with a family member. Letting go can be even harder. Yes. And I was thinking about that. I'm so glad that you brought that up because I was thinking about that because that can be a hard thing. And I remember, you know, um, me being the youngest in the family, you know, my siblings, um, they knew that, I don't know, I just had a way of just kind of knowing how to work my dad over. And I think really part of it was because they just kind of felt sorry for me because I was the youngest child. And, my mom passed away right at, 11 months after I was born. And so, they would kind of use me to get what they wanted from my dad. So then when I got grown, you know, I was used to uh that relationship. And my husband, he was like, okay, wait, you know what? You're gonna have to let that relationship go and put things in proper priority. Oh, we hit a good word right there. Proper priority. And he started, I was talking to my daughter about this today, and I was telling her how he really helped me, to let go. And at first, because they are family, when he first started talking to me about it, I was like, hey, wait, that's my family. How you going you interfere with my family, But he actually was trying to help me uh to live a healthier life. Let's put it like that. And once I started seeing, that his motives were to help me benefit in life, I was like, I started seeing some stuff, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, okay. I'm married now. My husband come first, my children come, before my extended family. Let's get this priority thing set right. And so I know that it can be difficult sometimes to let people go, especially family members, especially if they're your mom and dad. But sometimes mom and dads can be manipulative too. And sometimes you gotta one thing that will help you is, you know, create some distance. Sometimes, I don't know, some of you may have experienced this, but sometimes, when you go out of town, you go out of town, and you can see things that you didn't see when you were in town. You know what I'm trying to say? And so you gotta get distant, create that distance between people so that you can see the reality of what's going on, and you don't continue in that bad relationship. Let's see, Betty says you talked about that inner voice. I thought about wisdom. Your dad and my dad, although brothers, had wisdom that help us have a better life. And yes, oh my goodness, you know what? There is a inner voice of wisdom, and we do need to learn how to listen to that inner voice. And I've used this example before, to just kind of explain a little bit about the inner voice and listening careful. But if you're distracted by a bunch of stuff and everything is just noise all around you, and sometimes you got to watch people because they will make a lot of noise, to keep you in an unhealthy relationship. And you got to be able to get past all that and take a moment, make that distance, create that distance so you can hear that inner voice of wisdom tell you it's time to let that relationship go. And so we're talking about letting people go. We're not talking about, just canceling out relationships. We're talking about for your own good. There are some people that do not need to be in your relationships anymore. Okay, so let go of people who don't add value to your life, people you don't enjoy being around anymore, or people who drain the life out of you. Oh my goodness, I had somebody that I had been uh pretty much counseling, mentoring, for years. And it got to the place where I was not, it, you're not getting anything out of the relationship. There should be, you know, iron sharpen iron, so to speak. You should be strengthening one another. But if somebody's always draining you and you feel tired by the time you get through being around them, something's not right with that relationship. And it's time to just let that go, because that's just too difficult. Definitely agree. Thank you, Ulysses. And you know, they don't add value to your life. It's time to let that go, because you want people that's going to help you go places where you've never been before, that's going to cause you to advance in life, not keep you from growing. And oh my goodness, yeah, it's time to leave. Okay, so I wanted to share with you, because we're getting ready to close, but before we do that, I wanted to share with you some positive affirmations that, sometimes we need to have some positive affirmations, that these are, when you repeat them often and believe in them, you can start to make positive changes. Okay, because sometimes you can be so caught up in a relationship with someone that you lose your own identity, and you start to become that person because there's so much control there. And so you have to start speaking things to yourself, reality and truth, to help you release the relationship. Okay. So, I'm not sure, I'm not sure, what kind of affirmations that uh, work for you, or if you have been using any or not. But you do need to start using some positive self affirmations. Okay, like, I deserve to feel joy. We all deserve to feel joy. You shouldn't, in a relationship, you shouldn't be feeling guilty all the time, sad all the time, depressed. You deserve to feel joy. And if you're not feeling joy in that relationship, then you need to let that go. And like I said, one of the ways is to start creating distance. Stop being around that person so much, because their influence increases as you continue to be around them. and you need to do something that causes distance between you and them so that you're no longer influenced by them and you can start thinking for yourself. Okay, my past is not a reflection of my future. Oh, you know what, I wish I had time enough to go into this, but I was thinking about um our history. If some of us that are, those that are teenagers, you have some, you have a history as well, but some of us older ladies, we have a longer history, and we can look back at that history and see, where, we've, you know had a lot of regrets or resentments and things like that. And what we do is we want to create a new history. And to create a new history, we got to start creating a new day by day for ourselves. That we're using wisdom, we're thinking about, like I said, redefining, reframing what relationship mean to us, and not allowing other people to tell us what kind of relationship we should have for their benefit. Okay. We need to be with people that can accept us for the way that we are and help us to improve in life, not because they have some ulterior motive, but because they care enough about us to see us grow and become wise and confident women. Okay. How about that for Tuesday tea time? Yeah, all right. So uh let's see, I think we got it. Joy is your North Star. Well, I know one thing, joy does not have anything to do with happiness. And joy can is a choice. Joy is a choice. You choose to be joyful. you know let's see, everybody doesn't have the ability to do. Okay, I must have missed something. Do that. When people have that much control over you, there's got to be a breaking point. You may end up in a mental hospital allowing others to run your life. You get lost in them. So now where are you? Well, when you get to that point, you really, I would say this. When you can't uh make that decision yourself, when you know that the ability is not in you, that's when you partner with someone else. And that's why we need each other as women. We need each other because we can walk with each other and help each other and strengthen each other to be able to get through these relationships, because really no one was meant to be a lone ranger. No one was meant to do life by themselves. We're meant to help one another. And so some of us can uh, can make that decision on our own, and some of us need help to make that decision. And so, either way, there's wisdom in both if you choose the right people to connect with. And how you do that is watch them first. Do not bond easily right away with people. Take your time and look at the behavior. Look at the words that are spoken out of their mouths. If you don't hear wisdom, there's probably not wisdom there. And if you're not sure, then hook up with somebody that you believe are reparable and you believe that are respectable, and help let them lead you and help you to make those wise decisions. Don't try to make those decisions by yourself, okay? All right. Thank you, Ulysses. Great words of wisdom. Thank you, Ulysses. Okay, so we're gonna end with this. Next week, we are going to talk about masters of your own destiny. You know, we can be masters of our own destiny based off of what we choose in life and the directions that we decide to go in life, or the directions that uh, we well, let me say it like this: connecting with the right people and allowing them to help us find that destiny. Hey, women of wisdom, we are here for you to help you find that destiny. So you stick with us and we will stick with you. All right. So remember, this is Dorina, Tuesday Tea Time with Dorina. I love you and I'm out. And always remember, walk in wisdom. All right. Good night.